Hello, everyone. The solution to quiz number 14 is posted right here, right next to quiz number 14. So please take a look. And here, I'd like to point out some of the mistakes or things that I wish you to be careful about. Okay. To talk about that, let me take you to another page, which is going to be here, okay? And so it's on quiz number 14, some of you guys, when you substitute x squared plus y squared, okay, given that in our case, of course, the point is negative 12.5. When you substitute the x, because you understand that x equals to negative 12 and y equals to 5. When you substitute the x, you must have a parentheses for x, which is negative 12. If you're missing that parentheses, you get points off, okay? And there are some other mistakes, and I'm not going to explain here. I write a note and asking you to come to my office to resolve your issues, and so please do come. So this is one way to do that, which is really just doing the definition, which is really just use definition. So in the end, you get a 13, okay? And some of you, okay, use Pythagorean theorem. It's okay to use Pythagorean theorem, but you need to understand when you get to the point of r squared equals to 169, the right way to do it, okay, most of you did this, okay, most of you who use this piece, right, most of you just did say r equals to 13. It's not wrong, it's okay, and I did not dodge any point. However, I do want to point out the following situation, because in the question we are working with, r is positive, okay? R is defined as root of x squared plus y squared, so r is positive. So these two steps doesn't get you in trouble. Okay, because by definition, okay, so let me put the reason here. By definition, right, r is equals to root of x squared plus y squared, right? If you recall the details of definition ARD, and this is ensured to be positive, so you don't get in trouble. However, you could get in trouble if you do something similar. For example, if you have an x, let me just give you an example of, say, p squared. If you get to p squared equals to 169, and you don't know what p is, okay? Suppose you solve for p. Suppose you solve for p. And p squared equals 169. If you give the answer of p, if your solution is p equals to 13, and you are going to be in trouble. Okay, so let me explain why. This will make a mistake. Why? Okay, why? Because when solving for p in this situation, okay, we want to identify all possible values. Okay, this is an if statement, right? If p squared equals to 119, we want to identify. So the goal is to identify, to find all possible solutions. Okay, to find all possible solutions. In fact, your solution would be let me show you the work, okay? To find all possible solutions, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna take square root on both sides. You're gonna take square root on both sides. And then the square root of p squared is absolute value of p. Don't forget that. Remember, we talked about that in the first week, and it continued, and we use that. You must be very careful about this, okay? So then we're gonna go back to the R, okay? So in this case, you're solving an equation involve absolute value. So P would equals to positive or negative 13. So now you understand why I said this is a mistake, because you're missing another solution. You're missing another solution, okay? So you got to be very careful when you're dealing with this. Now, what would be the right way to do it? In here, let's go back there, right? Had you taken square root on both sides, okay, and because most of you show the work this way, none of you show the work that I just showed for P. If you take square root on both sides, you should still get the absolute value of R. Make this a habit. Okay, this is number one mistake. Number one mistake pointed out by the author of calculus textbook. And now you're gonna say, because R is, because R is positive by trig definition. Okay, because R is positive. So the absolute value of a positive number is the same as the number. I hope that narrative ring a bell in your mind, because I did talk about this before. And thus you get to R equals to 13. Okay, so be very, very careful when you're handling something squared equals to 169 or something squared equals to another number. When you take square root, okay, so my point is, whenever you take a square root of anything squared, okay, so let me just take, say, heart squared. The answer is going to be the absolute value of the heart. Do this always, and then you figure out how to get rid of the absolute value sign. And of course, we have learned this before, and that would be the two pieces, right? If you're taking absolute value of a positive number or zero, the absolute value of a positive number or zero will be the same as the number, okay? I couldn't emphasize enough that you get that narrative, you get that negative narrative, which we have explained before. If you have trouble with that, please make a visit to my office, okay? If the absolute value of a positive number or zero is the same as the number, so if the heart is greater than or equal to zero, if the heart is negative, okay, if the heart is negative, this is absolutely important. You could easily lose point because of that, and you also need this in your calculus classes. Okay, I have plural. I said you need it in not only in calculus 1, you also in calculus 2. And I wouldn't be surprised you might use it in calculus 3. Okay, all right. Recap on the absolute value of any quantity, right? If that quantity is non-negative, it's going to be the same as the number. And you can play with this form, really. You can play with any symbol. You can play with any symbol. You can use, this can be, you can use any symbol for it. But the meaning doesn't change. Go back to watch those narratives that when we covered in the first week. Okay, because I don't want you to forget. You're gonna need that in calculus 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's all for this time. I hope to see you another time. I will be very happy to see you guys in my office hours. Bye.